Okay. Good morning. Or afternoon, whatever.
That's a little bit.
Okay.
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 Hi.
So I might have to. I just realized I don't know where my pin is. So
It's an important one.
yeah, I thought it was right here, and part of the problem is if it fell onto the blankets, it might stain them.
Oh, I've had that explosion.
Yeah, so I gotta find it real quick.
You gotta do your priorities, cause priorities come first. Even when you got shit to do, you gotta do your priority, because it's how it works. Blah 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 blah. Meow meow meow. Ooh, I meant to journal and I forgot to journal, and that's okay. I forgot to journal. Oh my goodness! I'm just giving you some background music. La 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 la. La 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 la.
All right, maybe there wasn't a pin. I don't know, but now at least I got one now. So
Okay.
okay. Okay. So
Oh.
some deep breaths first.
Yeah, let's do that.
What would you like to do? Would you like to do quick check-ins just so we kind of have a sense of where each other's at and go?
Totally.
Okay.
I like that idea. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I can go first.
Okay.
Thank you for your flexibility. I had no idea what time it was, and then all of a sudden my phone reminded me, and oh, shit.
Yep.
um. So yeah, thank you. That was great. I'm trying to spend as much time in bed today as I can, at least until later this afternoon, because it's date night and I'd really like to leave the house. And so I'm gonna, yeah, try to conserve energy as best I can during the day. And I recognize that I'm really excited to be here. I'm glad that we have time together. I'm sure that something like both nourishing and supportive will happen, but I'm also like not feeling super confident in my ability to track much. But maybe I'm being too hard on myself. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's what's on top right now.
Cool. I got throat tickle. Okay. Where am I at? Yeah, I think the priority for me today is playing with time. Like you said, like, oh shit, that's just happened, your alarm went off. That's been me for the past few days. And I started giving myself like, if it takes me half an hour to get like ready for something, or I want, that takes me 15 minutes, I'm giving myself half an hour. So I have a pre-alarm that's like, hey, start transitioning. So it's my transition alarm. And I'm trying not to overdo it. I'm just trying to play with it.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever kind of comes up per day, and then I'm at night trying to track it. So yeah, I've got my crazy bullet journal that I'll do a video on.
Bullet journal.
Well, I think I'll do a video on for June, because then when I start a new month, I'll do like a whole thing, and I gotta figure out how to put the camera and all this shit. But
I'm super excited about that. I'm gonna watch that one.
And especially for, I think, people, yeah, like processing and trying to change habits. I learned something fucking epic yesterday with my therapist because I totally hounded her.
Mhm.
But we can go into that. I feel like it'll take a couple of minutes. But
Okay.
so I
After.
am excited about that. I'm noticing it's like, I don't have to be bouncing off the walls excited. It's just like I'm content being here
Mhm.
and pleasant and noticing a little bit of my defenses like popping up like throughout the day of just like, oh, I can get swept away in things. So I got to really
Mhm.
come back to myself and be like, what do I need? What do I need? Like, regardless, even if it's like family members, no, what do I need first? Just even giving myself a little bit of a pause. So that I'm grateful for that little strength coming up.
That's
Yeah,
a very beautiful practice in sovereignty.
working on it. Thank you. So that's where I'm at. I have no pants on. I don't know if you can see it in my mirror.
I don't know where the mirror is.
Okay, so I have a mirror like right here. Can you
Oh, I
see my
couldn't
butt
tell it.
cheeks at all?
Oh, no, I couldn't actually even tell it's a mirror,
Thank
honestly.
you.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect, perfect. I'm just
good
like,
check. Good check.
I've got a hot pad on my crotch just because I want the blood flow to continue healing where the wound was and it still hurts. So it's like a
Yeah.
lot of nerve endings there apparently. So that's where I'm at. I have no pants on and a hot pack against my crotch, and I'm feeling rather content, and that's just where I am. So
And I really invite um your practiced awareness. It sounds like this has been something you've been really working on. I invite your practiced awareness around, I'm not asking you to do it for me. I'm just saying, like, please notice when you're feeling elevated, because that's going to help me also notice when I'm feeling elevated. And like, I love that idea of
cool.
how much fun can we have being super mellow.
Oh, I like it. Okay, cool. I would absolutely love like it. Is there any particular way you want me to like say I'm noticing something either in myself or outwardly, like I'm noticing in you?
Yeah,
Trying to think like what would be
maybe.
gentle.
Yeah, and I love that really gentle voice you just used, because I think we both have expressed that sometimes it feels like correction or something, where it feels like
Totally.
but when it's just a real gentle, like, calling back to presence. I don't whatever works. Yeah.
Maybe I could be like, hey, I'm noticing something.
Yeah.
Like, and then we can like, okay, maybe take a little breather or pause. That'd be kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. The bing. Stop go. It's 12:22. So I just wanted to point there's twos, a bunch of twos right now.
Yeah. And I love your how you're using a transition alarm, but also recognizing, like, you don't want to overdo it because you don't want sound constantly bombarding, and that's stressful. Um, yeah, that's the way I handle that. Is I just set my alarm like half an hour out, exactly like you said, though. But for the 15-minute things that I think will take 15 minutes, I give myself half an hour. And today
Yeah.
I was like, I know I'm going to need at least half an hour.
Like, and for me, I reckon I'm starting to just play with it a little bit too, of like, oh, it takes a while to get the body moving and ready. Like if I have to be in a state of like, okay, and I'm trying to notice where I get distracted. I get distracted a lot.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, but I want to do this, and I've got all this stuff around me, and there's all these to-dos to do, and to do.
Mhm.
Um, so I have that, okay, now if I'm walking somewhere like my flower walk, I give myself an alarm that's like, okay, 15 minutes out, 15 minutes back. That way I'm like, oh, turnaround time, and I take my time doing that. And then I'm like, I don't have to think about the time, which is great. And then I also have one that's like, say, 5 minutes before our meeting to be like, okay, now I have to be at the computer and get whatever I'm doing, even if I got lost, come back here now. So it's like allowing myself to get lost and then come back. And I think it's helping me stay on track a little bit more. Um, so I just wanted to share that because I'm like, there's these little moments and transitions that seem to be where I'm getting stuck. So yeah, I think that's kind of cool. So
It's very cool, and I'm really glad you shared that specifically, because there's a few fine tunings in my own practice that you offered. Um, and yeah, and honestly, I think these kind of things that we're literally talking about today are exactly the things that we're like, why didn't somebody teach us this, when we were younger? Like, it would have changed our lives if we would have known some of these things younger. you know?
Um, yeah, can
Yeah.
I kind of want to do a jumping off point off of that. Can I? Okay, because that's a big one for me.
Mhm.
Um, I'll keep an eye on the time just so I'm not like overdoing it.
Mhm.
So that's a big one that came up for the whole ER visit, and just the health thing was like, why the fuck didn't somebody tell me this happens? An
Mhm.
abscess in the crotch area is fairly common, and there's ways to go ahead and avoid it. Like, don't shave. Don't ever fucking shave wax. If you're going to shave, make sure it's not only sanitary, a brand new razor, but you're not doing anything that you're gonna like sweat hard, or you're making sure you're washing yourself and cleaning well. Just armpit area, like any of the folds of our skin really that hold that sweat is
Mhm.
something that we really want to keep clean if we're going to use a razor or something that could nick us.
Wow.
Bikini trimmers are better. I'm
Mhm.
looking into sugar waxing because I got a hairy ass crack, so I'm just like, if
I can give you a comparison of wax versus sugar wax when you want. Yeah.
see, that's awesome because I'm like, all right, I've never went on that. So another one too is just noticing like I'm like, why didn't somebody tell me? Why didn't somebody tell me? And my mother would actually say that. And I remember as a child getting irritated. And I'm like, nobody's telling me shit. I got to figure it out on my own, woman. Like, and so there's my
Mhm.
inner child like kind of yelling at me now, like, oh
Mhm.
shit. Oh
Mhm.
my God, I'm totally like, I get it. I get why my mom was in that place. So there's more compassion for her. And I'm remembering that little child that was like, well, you got to figure it out. That's where we are. We have to write our own instruction manual. And for me, what I'm noticing is when the thought comes up, it still
Mhm.
comes up, but when I sit on it, when I let it like linger,
Mhm.
and I'm like, fuck, why didn't somebody tell me this shit? Like, what the fuck? If I let it linger and I sit with that, or even try to push it away, it gets the emotional response, like a body response that comes from that of like, ugh,
Mhm.
that stays longer.
Mhm.
So another one so this is really fucking cool, totally, right?
Mhm.
So this is the jumping off point is how to redirect the mind.
Mhm.
Um, this is fucking crazy. I absolutely love it because it's kind of blowing my head. So something like that comes up of just like, fuck, why didn't somebody tell me? And then anger. For me, anger comes up, and I'm like, fuck, you fucking whore, fuck, fuck, fuck. Like, and who am I talking to? Nobody. Um, but this anger starts to build, and it builds pretty quickly for me. And I don't like that feeling. And I recognize like my chest literally starts to hurt now if I'm sitting in anger for too long. I'm like, oh, thank you, body response. I need that. But I don't want it to get to that point. I want to start still continuing to lower my levels down because I'm still in a heightened place. I've been that way for years. So it's kind of turning the mind. So the thing is noticing when it comes up, and that's a blessing. You're like, oh, trigger. Hey, it's a trigger. How you doing? Um, just noticing like, oh, what's the dialogue? I am like trying to make a fact out of it. So it'd be like, I am feeling anger because I wasn't told that something that's actually pretty common happens, or how to deal with it. And it feels unfair. And I'm noticing I want to like yell at someone, but that feels unfair too. But I have this anger and I don't like this anger. So it's like, oh, so it turned from that thought to dealing with the emotion, which is really fucking cool. So that is really awesome. And it helps me because sometimes a thought comes up and I don't want to feel that thought. I
Mhm.
really don't want to feel it. I'm like, fuck this. I'm so sick of being here, right? Like, I'm so sick of being in the same fucking cycle. And what's really interesting, imagine it's like a weed. When we see the weed and we're yelling at it, like, I don't want you here. I don't fucking want you here. It's like we're putting fertilizer on it. We're
Mhm.
totally putting fertilizer on it when we're trying to do something
Yeah,
about
feel
it.
like that. Mm.
Exactly. When we get angry about it, when we're trying to actually change it, that's one thing too, is when we're actually trying to change it, it could be like we're trying to rip out a blackberry bush by the hands. That's
Mm.
going to hurt us. So it made me also, that transitions to dealing with trauma. And it made me think of like mornings. Mornings are difficult.
Mhm.
Like it comes up maybe old memories of just like, oh, yep, there's my childhood trauma right there. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good
Fuck you. Oh,
morning.
wait, no, you're here. I should allow you. And I'm trying to like navigate that, right? But I do not have the capacity to process shit in the morning.
Mm.
Not only that, I really don't 100% know how to integrate. because I think I know how to integrate, but integration may take days, weeks, not a few hours. And I don't even give myself a few hours. It's like, oh, let me go on to the next thing. Let me go on to the next lesson. I'm trying to solve something. So I'm not actually giving it space. And that's a key thing that I'm fucking missing is I'm trying to move it and change it and push it away. And so I really like that. That was like, wow. And so it made me think of with a garden, it's sometimes identifying what the weed is, just looking at it. Hey, you're a weed. Okay, what tools do I need to deal with you? Do I have the space and time to deal with you now? No, I actually need some energy. I need more rest and more energy. And it's okay if the weed is still there. I
Mhm.
will eventually get to it, but I'm going to do something different now. Or I'm going to be like, I see you and I go over here. Or, hey, sometimes the weed can tell us what the quality of the soil is, what's
Mhm.
actually really needed deep down.
Mhm.
Like, that's the beauty of it. So if we're just ripping it out and not actually looking at why the weed is coming up,
Information.
yeah, if we're not looking at why the weed is coming up, we're trying to fix it, we're trying to solve it, we're trying to like get rid of it, whatever it is, it's like, shit, fuck, and it's a dance too. So I don't know if that made sense. I feel a little bit lost at the moment. But that's how I'm looking at it. It's like when shit comes up that I want to change,
Mhm.
trying to notice it and then also asking myself, like, what is the need behind it? There's always a need behind it, whether I'm craving sugar, whether I want to pick my skin, because
Mhm.
that's still coming up a lot. That's a really big urge that's coming up a lot.
Big
And
one.
I'm like, nope, try and pet my hair. I do alternative stuff, like,
Oh.
but then I ask myself too, because I'm trying to redirect things, but I'm not actually hitting the root. So I
Mm.
ask myself, what is the need that's coming up? And telling myself it makes sense
Mhm.
why this urge is here. I built it up. So I'm
Mhm.
giving myself more compassion that way because I'm trying to figure out why am I still hard on myself? And
Mhm.
so that's really cool is finding these tiny little notes of just like giving myself just a little bit more space and
Mhm.
like journaling about it, writing it down. And that's been changing my morning. Plus, I'm
Mhm.
like, I can't process in the morning, so I have to distract myself. I
Mhm.
can't dive in every time and be like, what do I need? What's behind it? How do I move this? It's like, actually, you're still going to be there. I need to
Mhm.
literally do something physically different. So I'll go on my
Mhm.
flower walks in the morning now.
Yay.
Tai
Yay.
Chi, flower walks. I don't go on the phone. I
Mhm.
notice if the thoughts are there. That's a thing too. It's like I'm wanting the thoughts to go away and pretty quickly, but
Mhm.
they're still going to be there because it takes time to change this.
Mhm.
So it's just noticing. It's like, oh, hey, that's some old programming. Okay, cool. I'm noticing you. I'm not going to deal with you right now. I see you, and I'm going to put my focus over here. And I'm noticing, like, even just the past 2 days, a little bit more gentleness. So I thought that was cool, and I wanted to share that, and I felt like that was really important. So,
It is. It is.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing wisdom, dude.
Yeah, the garden analogy, I think, is what really got me. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, shit.
Well, and honestly, the garden specifically has been a theme for me this week because that prosperity challenge I'm doing, she uses a garden as the meditation device, the visualization because they're visual meditations that we're doing. And
Yeah.
so it's a garden, a prosperity garden that we're growing. And
Mm.
on day 1, I realized I um have in my body or did I feel like it's releasing or released. I had in my body a feeling that gardening fucking sucks cock, like in the worst fucking way. Like it is like disgusting, gross, gross
A
cock.
trucker who didn't shower for
Yes.
like a week. Yeah.
So that's fucking awful because my experience of gardening as a child is it is tilling brand new soil that no one ever in the history of the land has tilled it. And we turned it into a huge fucking garden, and it was literally life or death work. So I have in my system that gardening is fucking awful, miserable, and I gotta do it no matter what.
Mm.
So now I go, actually, gardening is fucking magical and it's alchemical and I wish that I had enjoyed it as a child. That would have been a lovely experience to get to love the plants instead of hate them as I put them in the ground each time.
Oh,
But now I also see like what was the life that grew from that anger and hate and frustration and unexpressed emotion. Now I get to grow beautiful things in the gardens that I choose to play in, you know?
cool.
So, yeah, so I've been meditating on gardens every day.
That's really cool. That
Yeah.
also sounds like a way to, it's almost like when we do something again, like I had my blood draw. I
Mm.
had my
Mhm.
motherfucking blood draw.
I'm
Okay.
so amazed how you got through that. That is fucking
Dude,
incredible. Hmm.
dude, I'm impressed with myself. But and I
Five
thank
bucks.
you, because the last experience was a fucking major panic attack while I had the ER nurses hold me down, and
Mhm.
that was still pretty traumatizing. And it's like when we do something again, because
Yeah.
I told the gynecologist, I'm
New
like,
experience, old stimulus.
yes, it's healing. It's so healing. I'm like, so it's really cool because the body, when you go back into that state, like I'm curious with your gardening, if
Mhm.
when you imagine a garden, your body kind of naturally responds as this fucking sucks. Ew. Like you're ready for like it to suck, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's coming up. And you're also like, this is a new experience now. The suck is allowed to be here,
Mhm.
and we're gonna practice enjoying it. And what makes it more enjoyable? Maybe it's taking your time.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not, you're not having to survive and feed yourself off of it. It's more for pleasure. Maybe there's no actual veggies being grown, but it's all flowers that kind of do their own thing. They need minimal maintenance
Yeah.
and they grow on their own, and you create, like, you're just helping a forest grow. Like that's what it sounds like, of like a healing thing. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's kind of what I'm picking
Oh,
up.
totally.
So
And I'm having conversations with that version of me also. And like, and having a conversation with a 7-year-old, you know?
mm,
Yeah, I understand, sweetheart, where you'd much rather be off playing right now. But, I think there's a way this can be fun. Let's play with it. Just it's
yes.
magic. No human nose has ever smelled this particular dirt. It's never had
Yeah.
chemicals on it. It's never had cement on it. It's just been sitting here waiting for us. And now we get to
Mm.
grow things in it. Oh like I can imagine having a hell of a lot of fun and enrolling that child, in the exploration of how it can be fun. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think
I,
that's a big one.
that totally gives me an idea. Can I share it with you?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. Oh, first I want to pause. I have an idea to kind of check ourselves with where our anxiety levels are at.
Okay.
Maybe we can rate on a scale of 1 to 10, and then in like 10 minutes or
Mm,
randomly we'll just pop it up and see where we're at.
It's a good idea because now that you're asking for me to check in on that, I'm like, oh, I'm noticing this temple is throbbing and my stomach feels tight and it's coming up in my chest a little.
Mm.
And yeah, I was rushing through some anxiety feelings.
Ooh. I'm curious. Can we sit with that for a second?
I
We'll
don't
allow it.
know.
And you don't have to. Just to like to be more present with the body, because it's there. It's not gonna go anywhere.
We can do it.
You're totally allowed to say no too.
It's my inner child who's responding. So,
Yeah. Oh. Oh, I saw your face relax a little bit with that.
okay.
Mm.
Thank you. I feel a lot calmer now.
I feel like I heard your inner kid like have a little sass in the
Yeah.
group. Like I don't want to, but yeah, there's
Yeah.
something.
You're probably right. Yeah. That's,
Oh, I totally resonate with that so
yeah.
hard. So
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. I bet. I think what I just experienced just now is, and I'm just gonna name it so you see it come.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna just go ahead and like more often let the inner child respond or the inner teenager, and so
Yeah.
if it feels incongruous or something, just have that in the back of your mind that every once in a while I'm just gonna go ahead and let the whoever speak, go ahead and speak or respond.
Cool. Yeah. I think I'll let you know how it impacts me because I think that
Okay.
it's interesting when something comes up or
Yeah.
when I notice.
Yeah.
Like that
Well, how
sounds
about
kind of
this?
fun. I
That's
like
what was
that.
happening just now when I was like, I don't want to. I mean, that's who came forward right away. That's why
Yeah.
making faces. And so, I mean, how
I
did
love it.
how was that experience for you? Because that we just did it.
It's like I love the authenticity because sometimes I feel like you are holding back.
Mhm.
And I resonate with that a lot. It's almost like, fuck yourself, you whore. And I'm like, I don't actually want to say that. And I don't actually
Oh
mean that.
yeah.
It's my inner child who's like an absolute cunt right now. And cunts are beautiful, but she's being really cunty. Um, it's so I resonate and I actually, so there's a joy. There's like my inner kid is like, yeah,
Good.
yeah, let's be real. Let's fuck this. And I'm tired and oh, my wrist hurts. Fine. And we're here. It's also like our inner parent is like, I hear you. And so I feel like that's a beautiful practice, just letting her express herself, especially in a safe place like this.
And it wasn't the grown up self trying like talking the kid into following the direction you were offering. It really was the inner child going, okay, I mean, I do like learning new things. Like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll listen. It's
It,
literally what's happening.
totally, totally. I started doing I don't want to. I don't want to, just to be honest with myself, because I notice I'm pushing through shit
Hmm.
and I don't give that. I love this. I fucking love this. I don't give that inner kid just to be like, I don't want to. It's
Hmm.
like you're ignoring a child
Yeah.
and just listening to like we
Yeah.
both, I think, just want somebody to listen sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like letting that little kid just be heard.
Well, and the intensity
Yeah.
reduces quickly, honestly. I mean, it's adjacent to the practice you described earlier in the call. It's like
Yeah.
going ahead and letting that energy come forward in the voice or the body or whatever, um, and not resisting it.
Yeah.
So in that case, you're like, okay, go ahead and have your experience, and and it may be that I know you don't want to put your shoes on right now, but we're going to school, so shoes on or shoes off, we're still walking out the door. I mean, there's going to be those kind of experiences, and then there's going to be like, well, let's sit,
Yeah.
let's pause. I'm sorry, am I rushing you? Let's okay, let's chill out a little bit.
Yeah, like what do you
Good idea.
need?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just space. It's not like the kid's like, I want ice cream. It's like, do you need love? Like
Yeah.
it's almost like we're getting curious. We're trying to decipher this language.
Yeah.
I already feel from you a little more relaxation.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it. Oh, and a new one too, if it's just 1% better. If it's 1% more relaxed. That's what I'm going for. I'm aiming for a C.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I'll aim for an A, but if I get a C, I'm fucking happy. You know what? And I'm learning.
Mhm.
And even though I notice myself still wanting to push further, it's like kind of having all of it, which is challenging for
Mhm.
fucking sure.
Mhm.
Love this. Oh, I welcome your inner kid and
Mhm.
space for that. And
Thank
this
you.
is really cool where this kind of went. I
Oh,
like
thank you.
it. I'm noticing my inner kid is really excited right now, which
Good.
is really cool.
Okay. Good.
I'm like, we're processing.
Yeah.
Ah!
So do you still feel called to? I totally derailed us into a different direction. There
I
was somewhere you
love
were going.
it. Thank you.
Do you want to go back to that?
I think I was done with that.
Okay.
That was perfect. I feel
Okay.
like that
I
that
thought there was
flowed.
something that you were about to say, and
Um,
but
um,
it's okay. It'll come back.
it's funny. I have like my notes from my therapy session,
Oh, that's right.
and they're on the back of like some work that I'm also doing. So I'm like, what did I write? What was important to me?
Is
Oh,
that what you want to do now? Do you want to tell me about the what you learned from the therapist?
well, that was pretty much it. The garden
Oh, that was
analogy.
it. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm trying to think if there was anything. Oh, it helps. so for me, for the mornings, kind of pulling it back full circle of just this allowing, like allowing your child, allowing it to be there. And I'll sometimes use a timer.
Mhm.
Or this is what I'm going to do. I'm just recognizing this now. This is coming up as used a timer.
Mhm.
And you can put automatic timers on the phone and stuff like that. So you can have it so that this is 1 minute. This
Mhm.
is 30 seconds.
Okay.
Something super small,
Mhm.
but you're forcing yourself
Mhm.
in a way. You're gently directing yourself. Maybe that's a better way. You're gently guiding yourself
Mhm.
to give yourself more space and pause between actions. Because I
Mhm.
don't know if you do this. I feel like maybe we resonate together with this, but I'm like, okay, I got to do this and then this. And sometimes they overlap and roll together. And I don't actually have like a transition.
Mhm.
Almost like it's saying goodbye to one thing.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm here. Hello to something else. And it could be just that. It could be
Mhm.
literally like 5 seconds long.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm done with this activity.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm in my body. Where am I right now? What am I feeling? My butt feels great. Wow. Also trying to find pleasure. I've been looking for meditations where it's like feel pleasure within your body.
Mhm.
Um, and then moving on. And
Mhm.
then being like, okay, now what do I have to do next? So it's almost like you're closing a book, you're putting the book down. Hey, I'm here.
Mhm.
What's up? And sometimes it's like, what do I need first? And then it's this dance. It's like, oh, there's urgency over here to get something done.
Mhm.
I absolutely have 5 minutes though. No matter what, I have 5 minutes to do something. If I'm 5 minutes late, that's better than being half an hour late.
Mhm.
Okay, but 5 minutes can, if I can just sit and breathe for like a minute, 5 minutes, whatever that minimum is, because I feel like the minimum is really helpful.
Yeah.
So for me, it's 30 seconds.
Mhm.
I can do 30 seconds, even if it's once a day, just 30 seconds of checking in, where am I? And I have that in my bullet journal. It has all my shit that I like want to track and get done. So then there's a lot. So I'm like, well, if I forget something, okay. Oh, I'm noticing judgment. Oh, I'm noticing like being hard on myself. Like just having that space to notice. Because
Mhm.
otherwise I'm always trying to change and move shit. So I really, that felt really strong and important to like share today. Oh,
Mhm.
that's really alive for me. So thank you for hearing me.
Mhm. Oh, so good.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you. I feel complete. So mm, yeah. Mm. Oh, also humming.
Mhm.
Every morning now I'm trying to figure out what are my needs. I'm like, let's hum to get the vagus nerve going.
Ah,
And
okay.
that actually brings down the nervous system as well, which I think is really fun, like with the
Mhm.
tapping. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So I want to reflect on some of the things that I kind of want to kind of take from what we just talked about, to remember. I just want to cement them in a little bit. So,
Love it.
um, I'm really genuinely excited about your bullet journal stuff, because that was a practice that I found tremendously beneficial, and I haven't been able to quite drag myself back to it. For some reason, there's a block. So but I did find it so beneficial. So, um, I feel excited about that, and I feel really excited about the idea of, the automatic timers to, you know, um, create space for just a pause and breathing time. Because I think I would really benefit from doing that, um, quite a bit more frequently, and also the in between each task, whether it's a 10-minute task or it's a hour task or whatever. It's just that transition, that real intentional transition in between. I think I also would benefit from.
I'm writing it down so I can make a little
Mm.
Instagram video, a 1 minute
Oh,
video.
good. Oh, good. That's
Which I'll get on the art. That's one thing I want to just start uploading this stuff to the art of processing.
Yes, I would be very excited to talk about that, right now or soon on this call. Yes, I want to talk about
I
that.
like it, but also sorry to interrupt.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
okay.
I just wanted to note that.
That's awesome. That's perfect, use of, what we're doing. So I'm delighted that inspired you to go like, oh, that's how I can cut all that down into like real quick. Um, And then what I intend to do with this larger piece this whole video, this will be the one that I'll focus on to prepare for Levi for next week, to break it up into what I'm imagining is there'll be some long form versions, for like people who want to hear the whole conversation, but then I'll also kind of cut it down to as short as possible and it still makes sense, like the practice only kind of pieces.
Yeah, I love that.
So,
And
yeah.
then if you, I'm recognizing too of wanting to pitch in for
Mm-hmm.
paying for Levi's time, especially for like the videos where we're doing this together
Mm.
and we're processing together.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to let you know. I'm
Okay.
totally, yeah.
Awesome. And I'll also say that I feel zero financial concern about it. And of course, I invite your, you know, energetic exchange at whatever level feels good to you. Um, and yeah, I'm sure that we can. What I could do is I could ask him to start kind of paying attention, like actually tracking each video as a project.
Mm,
And so he's tracking how much time is on each particular project, and then it'll be real clear to break down, these were my videos, I'm totally cool, and then there's the ones that we do together that maybe we share. But also on top of that, like you said something recently about like I have a video that I'm thinking of just putting on raw. I'm like, fuck yeah, not every video does
yeah.
not have to be edited. Oh hell no.
Okay, because I want to step into those fear-based things of us getting regular content going, and I just absolutely love the work that you've done.
Thank you.
It's so inspiring and it's really helpful because I sometimes I just don't know where to start. So thank you.
Yeah, it's whatever is simple. Like what I think would be ideal is if
Yeah.
honestly the majority of our content is kind of ready to go as we make it. Like we want it to be as efficient and simple and
Yeah.
low barrier, as low a barriers as possible. And so, you know, yeah, so I would imagine most of our videos won't need any editing at all, but there'll be the ones that were like, okay, or maybe we even release it completely. Maybe we release everything completely unedited. Yeah. And then there's later, like, or whatever, we do it in whatever order. But yeah, please don't let editing be any barrier at all, because I've gotten a long ways with zero editing. So, um, yeah, yeah, don't let that be a barrier.
Cool. I noticed myself going just when you were sharing into this imagination world. So I kind of stepped away for a second, but I was still listening to you. I wanted
Ooh.
to like just kind of let you know that. I was like, oh, I totally imagine myself like actually going through the computer and almost like imagining the step-by-step process.
I feel
Okay.
shivers. Yeah.
That's cool. I like your face got really excited. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, what did I hit there? That's cool. Like I was paying attention, but not fully. It was really funny. I was just like, wow.
Well, and I love that's what kind of sparked for you, because the organization and the actual like getting it on is really important. And
Sure.
we're both doing that. There's a lot of that going on over here too. um and so yeah, whatever, if there's ways that it might feel easier to you, like if there's more kind of watching me do things that might be helpful,
Hmm.
keep that in mind. um
We can make a video about that.
yeah. you know you're right. Why the fuck not? Because really, what are we trying to create here but more people doing the same shit we're doing?
Wow, I'm like, there's content everywhere. There's content flying out of our buttholes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I've been recording almost a meditation every day. I have like 5 different meditations now. One's like 45 minutes long, one's 10, one's like I'm trying to condense them. But
Oh,
this morning I went on a flower walk and I just wanted to describe because I'm like, I just want to share this with people, like how I see the world.
so you were
And then
describing
somebody
what you were actually seeing.
and what I was processing while
Oh,
I was doing it, I'm like, oh, I'm noticing irritation at the cars. Can I just have the hey, the irritation's okay. And cool. Okay, I'm irritated. Wow, interesting. What else is in front of me? Like, how much attention does something need? And just playing with that. And then somebody gave me a compliment. So that's in the video somewhere or in the recording. And I'm just like, that's hysterical. Because then I felt joy and I described what the joy felt like. And then also moving on from that. So I moved on from irritation and from joy. And it was like to be open to every single new thing that comes our way. And when we don't have expectations, it's incredible. what
Mhm.
comes in. But
Mhm.
when we block ourselves off, like I do, where it's something doesn't feel safe,
Mhm.
I want to protect myself,
Mhm.
which is total trauma response.
Mhm.
Um, Also, I'm looking into codependency. That's a whole nother video.
Mhm.
Because an avoidant can be codependent. And I'm like, holy shit. And also it stems a lot from trauma. It's just fascinating. Everything's interconnected. Fucking hell.
Mhm.
Um, Noticing myself very excited with that.
Do we need to take a pause and breathe and bring our heart rates down again?
I would love that. Thank you. Thank you. That's a beautiful way to put it. Okay. Take a breath. Yeah, I noticed that even if I'm sitting down and a part of me is relaxed, my toes or my heels are still off the ground. And
Hmm.
that's actually a common trait for people with trauma of having not their feet fully planted because they're ready to go at any moment.
Wow.
So
Interesting factoid.
I know it's like kind of trying to recognize these blind spots that I got so used to doing that makes sense. It's a coping mechanism, it's a survival skill, and just bringing more attention to it. And like it feels weird. My legs are now more relaxed, my calves are more relaxed. I didn't even notice they were tense.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm yeah, I'm feeling just so excited by, the ideas that are coming through you and how you're playing with them and how you're excited to share them and um and and I'm thinking back on a couple of years ago when I was doing all of the exact same things you're saying, but I did not share them. They're sitting on
Mm.
my phone, you know, or there's literally hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel that aren't released. So yeah, I'm excited because I and the Lori Ladd video that I've been listening to is also just like really parallel to everything we're talking about, everything we're going through, and the like one of the key pieces is so important is she's talking about essentially this mirror work or this place you put yourself in the witnesser of your own experience so that you can have a little bit of space between the traumatic response that you're having to the external world and the witnesser and um, almost kind of fully putting yourself into third person in some way, like, oh, the human is having this experience.
Yeah.
And wow, and getting real curious about it. And that's all those are all the things you're doing. But then she's also talking about this journaling and letting it out.
Mm.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm journaling on video. I did several live videos on art of processing just in the past couple of days. They're
On Facebook Live
no,
or?
no, on art of processing, the YouTube channel. I go live
Oh.
there so that I don't have to upload the video. It's already there.
Oh, okay.
And then
Oh shit, I gotta, oh,
when we have
buggers.
subscribers, the subscribers will get notified that we've gone live, and that'll be like the raw shit, like in the moment. And then it will no longer be visible once the live is over until we do whatever we want with it and decide what to do with it.
Oh, really?
Does that make
Okay,
sense?
I wondered how the live thing worked. I love how
But right
much work
now
you
we
put
don't
into
have any subscribers, and so nobody's getting. I mean, there's you and me, I think, but you know what I'm saying.
it.
So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to minimize barriers. So I've gone live, and it's all around this idea of just now. It's remember in Solsara we were taught you don't get lost in the story, stay in the moment, stay in the details of your experience now. And so we've gotten really, really good at that. And now for me, it's time to tell the fucking story because it's what's trapped in my throat and why I honestly feel is why I can't move forward
Mm.
because I keep coming back to this stuff that hasn't been said. Um, and she's back to Lori Ladd again. It's this. She's like, once you can, all the trapped emotions, all the trapped trauma, it's all because I couldn't feel it the first time. So it's go ahead and invite it up, bring it up, purposefully feel it and release it. Um, so that I won't have to feel it again. That's the way I'm
Mm,
thinking. And then if I want to go back and witness it, then I have this mirror work of this recording that I've made of myself having my experience and sharing the based on a true story memories that I know are all, they're not accurate. They're not 100%
yeah.
accurate. I recognize that. Um, but getting them out.
Hell yeah. Ooh. Can I share something that just popped up?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
because it feels really strong for my own journey right now.
Mhm.
Um, because I realize there's a part of me that wants to get something out and then go, bye, see ya, bye, Felicia. I don't want you anymore. I'm
Yeah.
done. I don't have to think about you. And
Yeah.
I'm recognizing that may not be how trauma works,
Mhm.
where we still have scars.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's like pain. Pain is gonna happen.
Mhm.
I think it's our relationship to it too. Like absolutely, absolutely needs to be. So I 100%. I'm like, fuck yeah, it feels like it needs to come out. You're listening to yourself. That is
Mhm.
so beautiful. It's like it feels really strong and gorgeous.
Mhm.
And like for me, I'm also recognizing I'm wanting more more of those expectations to be like, if it still lingers, if
Mhm.
it still comes up in the morning, if there's a repetition, if there's still something there, that's okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's okay. Like maybe things do need to take time, and it's like that adjustment, like being in the moment right now,
Mhm.
wonderful, but not for everything. There's a dance with everything, you know. So I'm just like noticing like this inner mama that's like, and it's okay. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
It means you're being human if things still come up. Like that was something of just like that really felt like I wanted to like hold you in and be like, it's okay. Because sometimes it feels really like challenging. Like you're like, fuck, why is this coming up again?
Mhm.
Like God damn it. I
Mhm.
don't know if that's your experience with it sometimes, but sometimes I like
Sometimes,
get
but
the
honestly,
frustration.
it's I truly believe it's because I have held back so much.
Yeah.
And also I'll tell you part of another piece that came through for me this morning was a very visceral experience at about 7, where when I was being my true self, my true fullest expression of using my voice,
Yeah.
my friend and I are outside screaming because we're outside in the woods, and that's something I would think you could do in the woods. Unfortunately, whatever was happening in the grown-ups' lives is they were in a very activated space, and hearing little girls screaming in the woods brought them out of the trailer with fear on their faces and guns in their hands. And so I
Oh,
received the
yeah.
message, and then my mother's holding me like, don't ever do that again. We thought a bear was killing you. So,
Wow, it's a hard place to be.
yeah.
Oh,
So that little girl went, okay, I will never scream again. I will never make noise again.
yeah. That makes so much sense. Oh my God, and having your state as a child,
Yep.
when you're being a natural child, people scream, children scream.
We were having a fucking great time. We were having fun.
Yeah, and it's like then you're told you can't have fun. Nope, shut it the fuck down.
Mhm.
And it's like you also need space as a child
Mhm.
to be a child and not be in survival.
Yeah.
That's what parents are supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Okay, like yes, children help out and whatnot, but no, oh, I've got a lot of anger towards your child.
Yeah.
I'm
Towards
like, what
the
the
ignorant.
fuck? Oh, it's not
Yeah.
fair. And thank you for, geez, wow. Oh, it
And
makes
then
sense. That makes so much sense.
there's the added piece of my rage that I felt when I found out my mom was reading my journal.
Oh,
It felt like it was the one place that I could put my true thoughts and my true feelings, my anger. There was a lot of anger in my journal,
yeah.
and a little bit of misbehavior. And I got in trouble for some of the misbehavior that I'd written about in my journal.
Oh,
And so then there's this other story running in my system going, you can't tell your most secret inner thoughts to anybody. You can't say them out loud because you'll get in trouble.
oh, totally. It's not safe.
So
It's not
no wonder
fucking
I've had
safe.
some barriers and some resistances to doing these ideas we have, or that I've had literally for years. I mean, you know, so
Yeah.
it's, yeah, those are a couple of pieces Yeah.
I just noticed my inner child was like, "Do you want a hand to hold?" Like, I
Oh.
think a great experience. Oh, my heart's swelling right now. I want to like bring you into the woods and let's scream.
Ah,
Let's scream as
yeah.
loud as we fucking can and just
Okay.
be loud and let the inner kid heal that way.
Mhm.
Even if it's just 1%, like let the inner child. Oh, I would
I'm
love
feeling
because
tearful and scared just you saying it. Like,
oh, I love that. Yes, thank
yeah.
you. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my God.
I'm
Oh.
like, yes, please. And oh my God, no, that sounds terrible.
Oh, during the daytime when we have a few hours,
Yeah.
we have snacks, we
Yes.
are fully nourished, we're fully safe. I can drive us.
Mhm.
Um,
Good.
so we can figure out the timing with
Mhm.
all that stuff. And I know spots that are not too far away from here
Yeah.
that if we scream and yell, I mean,
Mhm.
nobody's gonna fucking come.
Good.
I have screamed and yelled in the woods next to loggers, and
Mhm.
they look at me like I'm the meth head,
Yeah.
and they walk away. So that's the nice part about being an adult and yelling and screaming when you're alone. And if
Yeah.
somebody's like, "Are you okay?" I'm totally just letting it out.
Yeah. Leave
I'm,
it.
I'm
I'm
just letting
good.
it out. Thanks, though. You want to scream
Yeah.
with me? I'm just letting it out.
Yeah.
In my Batman fucking onesie.
That's God damn, that's good. We both have some of those kind of stories that also would be good to share.
Totally, totally. Oh my God. Yeah. There's so like just how many times I've seen you like, let's go to flower walk. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're putting on a onesie. The fuck.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Let's do it. So I'll tell you too, my plan also for this coming week is
Yeah.
I changed my second vaccine appointment. I moved it so now it's Monday.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm just gonna give myself next week to do spend as much time in bed as needed, and then some more.
Yes, yes.
and then I think you've what I've also been doing without even realizing it is I have been honestly kind of moving away from quite as much processing in the morning, because your awareness at one point where you're like, that sounds like an awful lot every day. you know
My inner mama was feeling that this morning too. I'm like, I
yeah.
want to hold Heather.
And on the one hand, the part of me is like, oh honey, this is shaved down. It used to be all fucking day, all day, every day. So like this is just pressure release valve. but
Awesome.
but then also I recognize that I believe that has been true. However, I also the practice that I've been in recently with this class that I've been doing, it's at the live session is at 9 a.m.
Mhm.
So now I've basically what I've done over the past week several times is I've done a 6:45 a.m. Women's group that's until 7:30, and that I mean I'm no there's no video, so I'm just still in my robe or whatever. So I've been doing that at 6:45. Brian and I meditate at 8, and then at 9 is that class. And so
Mm,
there's not a lot of time in between for me to get real deep into some sort of process.
cool.
So there's been some process because something comes up every time from the meditation. So then I have about an hour of process after that.
Nice.
Um, but that practice as well as some of the other things I've done over this past week have helped reassure me that my capacity for business thinking and business planning and organization is coming back really quickly. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm very
Fuck yeah.
excited, and I want to, yeah, so I'm just but first is kind of finish this next week of rest and more rest, and then start figuring out, like, that's also a kind of a reset, and then go, okay, now what do I want my schedule to look like? How do I want to Jenga the ear or Tetris my things together,
Yeah. Another one I wanted to put in, just a little pin,
yeah.
is I'm trying to schedule, because the schedule works for me,
Hmm.
schedule nothing time where
Mm,
I have no agenda. I'm not going to plan anything. It's whatever comes up. So I let my inner child play, and that's for an hour,
mm,
and also rest. And I'm realizing I don't really know 100% how to fully rest. It's either a guided meditation or something. I'm like, can I learn how to do this on my own more? And I've noticed that with the flower walk. So I'm like, okay, I'm pulling pieces from here and there, but that hour is going to be practicing resting, even if it's half an hour. Like, so I'm trying to do that almost every day.
Mm.
And if it doesn't happen every day, that's okay. But that's something cool I wanted to like just throw in there and be like, how about there's like, mandatory rest time?
I actually, that's one of the segments. Did I ever show you my calendar? I
A
mean, that's
couple
one of
times. I know it's
the
changed.
segments.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the things I have on every
Really?
day is afternoon rest or walk is what I've been doing. Afternoon rest or
I
walk.
love it.
Um, but yes, and the nothing time. The nothing time is something I don't have on my calendar,
Mm.
and I will add that because
Oh, sorry. I'm also adding to the evening melt. Like I'm
oh,
recognizing when I try to go to sleep, there's still anxiety, tension. I'll curl up in a fetal position. I lay on my side a lot. Like
yeah.
there's still a sense of self-protection and not fully relaxing. Like my neck never really fully relaxes, is what I noticed. It's really challenging to feel like I got full support.
Yeah.
And so I'm practicing melting. Even if that means I'm like here and I cannot breathe, I'm like, how can I relax every muscle in my body? So that's a new practice for me in the evening of just trying to like imagine and having visual, just like imagining things melting away. And it's like sludge is dripping off of me or floating away like pores of mushrooms in the wind.
That
Like
sounds amazing.
I'll try to record it and
Yes,
I'll have a little guided. So
I could see you turning that one into another 1 minute.
yeah. I know some of it now has gone beyond the 1 minute. I can't really condense a lot of it,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
trying. So
Oh yeah. They don't all have to be like that,
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, give yourself the space. You've perfected the 1 minute videos. Like you practice those hardcore over the past what 6 months or so.
About I'd say over the past year of just playing with it.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think, if you feel complete with the practice of the 1 minutes, like you fucking nailed those. And so now you know how to, throw those in whenever you feel like it. And I think you're really good at them. And it feels like it's a lot longer than 1 minute, but it really, I'll look and go, that's really only been a minute. Wow.
Wow, thank you. I don't know how it's received, except for comments or other things, or if it hits somebody. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It doesn't feel rushed, yet it still
Yeah.
feels like you packed a lot in. So, but yes, by all means, if yeah, feel do longer ones if you want.
Cool.
Uh,
I want to say happy 111.
oh, good job. Lovely.
My inner kid's happy. She likes synchronicities.
Yeah. You. I'm glad you noticed.
Ah. Ah. Oh, and my chest was feeling heavy, and it
Mhm.
felt like there's been an elephant on my chest for some time now.
Yeah.
So I went and I got a COVID test yesterday, just
Oh,
for shits and giggles. I'm negative. Woohoo!
yeah.
Um, but I wanted to share that. I'm like, yay, I'm negative, but what the hell is this thing on my chest? So I think it's a mixture of anxiety and pollen. But I noticed even just going for a test,
Mm-hmm.
my nerves feel a lot better, and I'm not just sitting on something.
It's one less unknown.
Exactly. At least I'm like, okay, I can rule that out. What else can I work on? Or what else can I look at and pay attention to, Because I don't trust doctors 100% to be able to notice
Mhm.
or acknowledge maybe some symptoms I'm having. A lot of things are being brushed aside where I'm like, no, dude, there's something here. Like, can I be validated? Like, so I'm learning how to validate myself. It's like I'm practicing holding my own hand when I don't have somebody else's hand to hold. That's a big one. That's like, how can I be that inner mom, that exact inner mom that I need? Like, I can fine tune that shit. That's fucking cool. Like,
Custom ordered mom.
yeah, I'm like, I am the perfect mom for myself. Like, I'm learning. I'm absolutely learning how to be how to be a mom, because I don't know how. I never had a kid. I have no idea. It's
And
crazy.
those of us who have been a mom, and I'm realizing like I was not at all the mom I wanted to be, So
Aw.
could be a mom and realize there's a lot that it didn't do well.
And like I just realized that using the word perfect, I'm like, there's nothing. If you're fucking up, you're doing it perfectly. If
Yeah.
you're messing up, you're doing it perfectly. If you've given trauma to your kid, you're doing it perfectly. We all have trauma. There's no way we're not going to pass it on.
Yeah.
And I actually called my mom and told her that. You inspired me, like, just from witnessing your journey as a mom
Aw.
for yourself and for your daughter and through all the craziness you've been through and hardships. It's like, it's hard. It's fucking hard. Jesus Christ. I just realized I wanted to apologize to the imaginary Christians who are watching our video. Like, excuse me. Excuse me.
This is us being uncensored. Once in a while, we're gonna say something that's gonna bug somebody.
It's beautiful. I think like I feel you more relaxed from the beginning, but also with excitement with all the emotions. And I like it. Like I like you just kind of hanging out here. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, "Hi, Heather." You could be like, "Fuck you," and I'll be like, "Yeah."
So, so I feel like I've got maybe another half an hour to 45 minutes in me. I'm starting to get kind of one of those headaches that's like, you gotta get off the screen. But yeah, so I'd like to see if we've got some business, more concrete stuff that we need or want to talk about so we can dedicate to that.
I love it. Can I request that we even make it maybe a tiny bit shorter?
Sure.
Because I heard like you're feeling it and I'm like, I gotta pee. Why should we wait half an hour when maybe in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we can take care of our body needs?
What if we
and
go
put a
pee
pin
now?
in it?
Because we probably should be holding pee.
Let's do that. You got a good idea. Okay. I'm gonna put my
pause.
pants on
Okay.
and
I'm gonna
go
pause
pee.
it so it's not
Back and back some more and okay. You ever have it where you smell something fish and you're like, dear God, is that me? And then you can't find it and you're like,
yeah.
not me. Where is it coming from?
What's really gross? I'm gonna tell you something really gross.
Please do. Thank you.
Is that for some reason for the past, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, something's changed in my body that around my period, my vagina smells really gross. Like gross.
Is it while you're bleeding or like before?
Before
Oh,
and
interesting.
during. Yeah.
Okay.
And it clears right up.
But it clears up each time, but it's been happening.
So it's actually, I'm glad I should talk to the doctor about that, Dr. Pramazi about that, because since it's a change, or it could have been a detox. I don't know. I mean, it actually hasn't smelled as bad this time. I'm having my period and it hasn't really smelled very much. So maybe it's cleared. I don't know, but it was gross.
Oh, honey. It's like,
every time I went to the bathroom, I'm like, oh God, what the hell?
oh, that's hard. That's because it's like it's just coming from what's coming from our body.
Right. And I'm keeping myself clean. I mean,
yeah,
it's not a cleanliness issue.
yeah. Could be detox. Could be a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be difference in hormones. Could be the moon.
Especially since it's less now, I'm really starting to wonder if maybe it was a phase.
Yeah. I just think it's good to track. Like, I feel like these little things, I wish more of us kind of talked about because maybe somebody else is like, oh, wait, that's because I ate this, or that's because of this, or that's because I had sex this.
I do track a bunch of stuff about my cycle on an app. It's like, and there's all these symptoms that you can choose from, like breast tenderness or mood swings or spotting, or I don't know. There's like a ton of different nausea, headache.
We like that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
There are apps for tracking that kind of stuff.
There's an app for that.
Okay.
Now, thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So letting me tell you about my sometimes stinky vagina.
Thank you. It makes me feel more loving towards my own vagina.
Okay.
Sorry, that was like
that's another good quotable. Thank you for letting me talk about my stinky vagina.
I'm writing that one down. No, that's gonna be on here. That's okay.
Yeah. Got your genital positivity channel, by the art of process. There's all these different places to put these things so that it can always be appropriate.
Exactly. We're building the seeds.
Yeah. Okay. So, are there specific items that you're excited to talk about, or?
I'm realizing I want to get my other laptop to see if there's any notes. What I shared with you before about getting content up regularly, I feel like that's been a theme. And I just feel like I want to start. Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna have 2 weeks of minimal cell service and shit, like, or 2 months of minimal cell service starting in mid-June. So
Yeah.
anything that's gonna have to require like video stuff or whatnot, I might go into town, or
Mhm.
that'll have to be that I'll just have less access to it. So I feel like I'll have more time to actually go through my stuff because I still feel distracted with news and other shit like that. So
And your stuff is saved on your computer, so you'll be able to watch it
yes,
even if you don't have Wi-Fi. Okay.
exactly,
Won't be able to
exactly.
load
So
things. That's the trick. You'll be able to
that's one thing where I can go through it and I could be like, oh, I want to edit this or whatever. And I might even just get some free editing software just to play with it too. Because I
Mhm.
am kind of fascinated with, I'm like, oh, how does this
And
work?
I
And
bet honestly a lot of the I mean, I bet a lot of what Levi's doing is so simple that, I probably at some point maybe when he's going off to college, I'm going to ask him to teach me what he's doing.
hey, if we can pay him for that, we can do like a little class thing and then maybe he could
Yeah.
practice teaching
What if we
people and
do
that's a win-win.
Yeah, what if we do that? Why
I
don't we
like that.
when I talk to him the next time I talk to him,
Yeah.
which I think will be this next Friday. I think we'll talk to each other if he's done with school.
Okay.
Um and so I'd be like, okay, yeah, Corinne and I want to learn how to do the very basic editing, and then we'll only have to bring him in for bulk stuff, or it'd be nice to be able to do quick things on our own.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I like that. I like the we're helping somebody out, we're getting
yeah,
help, we're figuring things out, we're learning.
yeah, yeah.
That's a cool
Okay, so
one.
I'll talk to
Cool.
Levi about teaching us basic editing. Yeah, because honestly, there's going to be so damn much.
Yeah.
And again, trying to emphasize videos that are ready to go, and the real, yeah, that are just ready to go as is. But it is nice to have basic editing.
I'm figuring that out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna move on my notifications, go away.
And so, when it comes to the actual loading of the content, do you and stuff being posted regularly, are you wanting? Do you kind of visualize that you'd like to see maybe a handful of videos already live on the channel before we start inviting people?
We can have like a few set up. I
Hmm.
think like what we have in the queue
Hmm.
is great to work with,
Yeah.
and then we'll fine tune it from there because I feel like it's just getting it up and getting it going, and
Hmm.
we'll adjust it.
Hmm.
I think we have a really good basic idea layout. We have I love our recordings. Like I think they're really good. For sure.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm trying to think of what is specific other than we still need to get like our bio
Yeah.
up. Here we go. There's my order processing notes. Here we go. Introduction video. I still have that. We don't even have to do that yet.
Well, I think well, no, it's not required. It's just be nice to have some sort of explanation up there. But I think it was in my court where we actually recorded something. We're like, that's probably good enough. Let's use that.
Oh, and Levi started editing it.
Did I already give it to him?
I think so. I think so because we
So
looked
maybe it's
at it.
already done.
Okay, shit, that might already be. Hey, okay, so that can be a
Mhm.
priority. I'm so glad I have these notes. Cool. Okay, I
Yeah.
found all my gunk.
I think probably what happened is I said, "Hey, I'll send this to Levi this week," and then I crashed and didn't. I think is what actually happened.
Yeah,
But um,
life,
yeah, I'll look for it.
life.
Because honestly, my storage, my iCloud storage keeps telling me that it can't store anything else, and so
Oh,
I
I got
like,
you.
have to upload a bunch of videos because I have a billion saved on my computer. They've got to get
Totally.
loaded.
Yeah, I think it's using what we have. I saw that intro video. Um, yeah, I think the way he edited it too, it was just kind of silly. It was like perfect. It was just like this is
Yeah,
what
we
we're
did
at.
already have one, and we just wanted to add a little bit more context. That's what it was.
I think it was. We wanted to add a little bit more context.
Yeah.
I'm
Good.
like, oh, I have an idea is we can pause this video
Mhm.
or recording, start another recording, and we could just describe what the art of processing is right now,
Mm.
if you're feeling up for it. I was like, yeah.
Um, yes. I'm just trying to think through. Um, I think I'd rather we finish our talk first
Okay.
and then, yes, create a, and then I'll stop it and restart it so that we'll have that at the end. And then we can, sign off from there. How's that sound?
I love it.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, perfect.
Okay. Um, So what I'm kind of feeling, the project manager in me is coming forward and saying, "All right, let's put a little bit of, structure in here."
Yes, please. I love your project manager. Let's bring her up.
And so what I'm hearing us both say is we have some pretty specific there's some pretty specific ideas of things that can be accomplished soon. There's some mid-range ideas that are a little bit further out.
Yeah.
Um, and then, maybe what it also is just like, okay, let's set a goal that by X date we are, releasing 3 videos a week on the art of processing, whatever. And then maybe after that, the next goal would be, okay, now let's go ahead and if the like series that the kind of buckets we put things in haven't quite gelled yet, then maybe we um, work on that a little bit, like the second month. We already have some
Ooh.
really good ideas of how to kind of organize things so that people can go, oh, I want a practice video, and so they kind of know what to look for. Or, oh, I want a raw processing video. They kind of know. I think each one has a little bit different look and feel because of the thumbnail we use or the color or whatever.
And that's something I'm just going to pause, sorry, jump in and be like, okay, I need to get the art out for that. Or
Mhm.
just a little, little things like,
So that's why that one would be a little further out, because I don't want that to distract you from the actual content. Like something that'll be a beautiful, nice to have thing, but it's not required on the front end.
mhm. It
Um,
could be even be a little doodle. Like if it's something like I'm recognizing I do want something that's like our standard, and then we could always adjust it, jump off
totally.
from there. So I'm thinking maybe like a color for
Uh-huh.
whatever theme, and then a little doodle.
Yeah.
Because anything too intricate it would just be a lot. So I'm gonna put that on my priority list. I'm gonna make sure that I put it in more than one spot so that I have this on my radar. So getting,
And hopefully that's something that actually feels really fun to you to do too.
well, it's like I can sit with our themes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a desire to just go over our themes real quick of what we
Sure.
have.
Please. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we have, okay, so our themes are, let me just write this down. So my themes are raw videos.
Mhm.
Maybe it could be like a vegetable, videos in the raw or something funny. So some image that comes along with that. I could just doodle a sketch and then bam, we got something. Um,
Probably not bloody messy meat.
no, I'm thinking we'll do something vegetable like maybe a
Okay.
carrot that's being chopped up or something,
Yeah.
like
Crying.
well, think about it. Yeah, you're like chopping up a carrot. No, don't kill me.
Yeah.
So that could be it. Yeah, like I literally like that idea, chopped carrot. I'm gonna go off of that. The raw videos. Then we have let's see, we have our practicing videos. So like we're practicing with each other or we're
Mhm.
practicing our own skills.
Mhm. Mhm.
Trying to figure out how that theme went.
Um,
Or what are you
well,
feeling?
what I'm kind of seeing is that there are so what I see there, those are two different things to me. So there's
Cool.
what I'm partly visualizing is like what you've gotten super good at, and I could see myself getting around to at some point is these quick, snappy little videos, 1 to 5 minutes that are like, this is what you do. Boom,
Bite
boom.
size.
Yeah, yeah,
Bite size tips.
exactly. We literally call it bite-sized tips. Like I kind of love the general theme of menu items and
Yeah.
recipes, and so like keep that in mind as you're thinking of
We'll
themes. Is
make it like a little finger cracker or something like that.
yeah,
Yes.
just a crudité. Um,
I like this. I
hors
really like
d'oeuvres.
this.
Maybe that's what we call it. But hors d'oeuvres is hard to spell. But whatever. So there's those so that's a practice video is what I consider to be a practice video are those little quick snap things like bite size, try this. Okay. And then there's the maybe, and or maybe it is, I mean, we do come up with a different word, but
Well, I also think,
then there is, yes, us practicing
yeah.
together.
Oh man. Yeah, I like the idea because like we could do tiny, really
Mhm,
quick ones,
mhm,
like less than 5 minutes long.
mhm,
And then we have like a full-on practice.
mm,
Um,
okay, I see what you're saying. So maybe there's there's bite size, snack size, and a meal.
bite-sized tips,
Yeah.
uh,
So maybe those can't,
snacks,
they can be
snacks.
the same category. So there's the bite-sized snack practices, and then there's the meal practices, which are maybe even, yeah, modeling it being used or talking about it at more length, or, you know, more of a, more of like a teaching through modeling video.
Ooh, yeah. And we could always adjust the words from here if something pops up, but this is pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, I like that. And then eventually I would love like I'm really wanting to get mics and shit and I want to do interviews.
Mhm,
And I love this setup. We could totally just interview people. I've
mhm,
got a couple of people, like even just my housemates.
mhm,
Like my one roommate, he does art and
mhm,
he has a flow. He has a flow with how he's a successful artist. And
mhm,
so that's something I want to ask him about because I really like it. And then my other roommate, Amy,
mhm,
has a processing on how to be full of joy and love. Like
mhm.
there's all these little things that I'm seeing from people that I'm like, I just want to start getting the interviews going.
Do it.
And
Yeah.
then we can get stuff like,
Mhm.
well, so we do have like interviews,
Yeah.
but I like what we have so far, kind of like raw videos,
Mhm,
bite-sized tips,
mhm,
snack size. I almost feel like that could be the hors d'oeuvre.
mhm, mhm,
That's like that bite size would be a preview, and the full-on meal,
mhm,
um, which is the teaching and modeling.
mhm,
That could be like we're practicing teaching and modeling, so it's the whole shebang.
mhm.
It's a buffet, baby. It's the buffet.
So yeah, if you get the opportunity to interview those two people or anyone else, wow, just fucking do it. Just do it. You know, we'll figure it out as we go along. And the equipment, I also can see us totally decking out like, you know, big brother style. Our houses, our cars, whatever. I mean, like people love that shit, and we're wanting to model more healthy behaviors, you know. And if the cameras are like ready whenever we feel like there no effort has to go into turning it on. So I could imagine us, you know, when, you know, not too far out, a little ways out, going ahead like, okay, now we're ready to do a do some form of fundraiser. Help us get our equipment.
Oh yeah.
What we're doing. Look, this is what we've done so far with what we have. This is what we'd like to do. This is what we, you know, we need $1,500 or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, whether it's putting together a retreat, like I think the retreat house will be
Mm.
amazing. Or
Mhm.
it's co-healing,
Mhm.
like co-therapy or co-counseling, co-healing,
Mhm.
um, or whatever. Or
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, we're networking, putting healers together, or putting people together, or maybe having things in the park. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of ideas that are popping off of like how to help others.
And at some point we may
Yeah,
be able to do it all. So it's fun to have those explosions, you know. And then we're doing a
exactly.
really good job though of also being real deliberate about, okay, we can have 500 amazing ideas and they are fucking amazing, but we can only do a couple at a time. So
Yeah.
focus on the most foundational ones, and, you know, the ones that we actually can accomplish from where we're at right this moment, you know. And just keep moving it forward. And now that we're both, our free, our time's a little freer than it's been in the past year plus, you know, for both of us. Now we both can really tune to, like, this is going to go quick once, now that we're going to be dedicating some actual devoted time to it, you know.
And a reminder
Mhm.
that rest comes first.
Yes.
Our bodies come first. This is still just for fun.
Yes.
If this starts getting stressful, we definitely need to check in with each other
Yeah.
and be like, hey, wait a minute.
Hmm.
And that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Hmm.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
It'll grow. It'll totally, we're working on cultivating the garden while we're figuring out how to garden at the same time. I just want to really like put that out there. As for myself too,
Yeah.
I'm like reminding myself as well of just like, because I'm noticing just a tiny bit of tension. Like tension was coming up thinking about that. Like, fuck yeah, I want to be
Hmm.
more regular.
Yeah.
100%. I want this regularity to come in
Hmm.
because this stuff is important.
Yeah.
And it's also dancing with priorities.
Yeah.
It's dancing with, wait, what actually is it? It's okay if we don't get to something today. It's okay if we have to change and move. And I like how we've had our flow going
Mhm.
because look, we're here.
Yep.
We're right here. We have an awesome episode right here.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Like, I think we're doing badass. We're doing great. I
Mhm.
still get to connect with you. I'm so happy we're doing this together. Oh yeah, I just want to like appreciate you. Like I'm really grateful for just like,
Mhm.
oh yeah. I love it. My God, look what we're doing. We're working on stuff together. We have no idea what the future's going to hold, but we're
Mhm.
playing with it. And we're putting our stuff out there because you and I feel like we both feel that it has to happen
Yeah.
and it's going to help other people and
Yes.
it's
And the
helping
piece
us.
you're saying about let's notice when it starts to feel hard or rushed or difficult is really, really important because I think that's where when I have tried to partner up with friends in the past
Yep.
where things have gone awry is one or the other of us will say, "Hey, we need to pause here. We need to slow down," and then the other won't,
Yeah.
and just exerts more pressure.
And that's something where we want to make this with ease. We want it to be helpful.
Mhm.
We know there's definitely work involved.
Mhm.
It's going to take effort and especially if this like blows up or something, we got to go ahead and
Mhm.
and put our resources and time into it. And we're not alone. I love how you found Levi.
Mhm.
We're like, I really feel like this is a networking type
Mhm.
of thing. We're just,
Mhm.
we're allowing nature to do its thing, like we're just creating a platform for it in a sense of like, here's a spearheading, here's this like going for it. And I love that because this is meant to be fun. And you and I, we both process, we both have shit that comes up that we're not even ready for or prepared for. Like that happens. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm,
And I have confidence in us that we're going to be able to navigate it, you know, especially as long as we keep slowing down and tuning in and checking in and
yeah.
uh because we're both very acutely aware that we both have a fuck ton of trauma that we're still carrying around and it comes up in weird ways and it's very important to me that our relationship um is able to continue to flourish and thrive and grow in this connection. And an unfortunate pattern that I've exhibited is turning everything into work, and it has cost
Same.
me some really important relationships. My daughter, one of them, I feel like I turned
Oh.
everything we did into work, so I want to be real careful about that and real mindful. But I think the slowing down is the part. And you're right. If we're having fun and we're just like, this is just fucking cool, it won't feel like work, you know?
And I
Uh,
think that's really important because I'm recognizing, at least with the artist side of stuff,
mhm,
is when we're doing things out of pure joy, passion, or
mhm,
processing or emotion, we're
mhm,
not thinking of the monetary gain
yep,
or it's becoming our survival. Like
mhm,
that's where I'm really glad I have my drafting stuff now and I'm learning how to cultivate that more and find that flow.
good.
It's tricky and challenging, but same with you. It's like you're trying to find the flow. And I would love it if this could support us. That would be badass and not having to survive on it because then that the stress gets added in there.
Mhm,
So I think that's huge. And we need that. We need something that's fun, that when it does get stressful, we let each other know
mhm,
or
mhm,
we're able to state it. I need a break. I need this. Cool. And I think with you and I too, it's like, oh, I can get really into something. I'm like, cool. Well, I'm going to continue with this. You
mhm,
totally take the rest that you need,
yeah,
and then we'll jump back up when you're feeling it. So that's so it's not, no, you have to do this now. You have to do this now. All right, bye, Felicia. Okay, I need somebody who's able to do it
mhm,
now, because I feel like you and I have both been attracted
mhm,
to that because we have that drive within us. I'm totally spitballing here, but I feel like I'm attracted to
mhm,
the strong, powerful women who like
mhm,
yourself, um,
mhm,
and myself, like we're
mhm,
go-getters.
yeah,
And we totally know what burnout is like. And we totally recognize like, okay, maybe they think they can do this, but not
mhm,
me.
mhm,
I gotta find out. We gotta find out our flow.
yeah, exactly.
Aw. And I just want to honor it. Let's have a place where we could just be our authentic, delightful, beautiful, fabulous mess that we are.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
fabulousness.
You're like a casserole.
Okay.
I like casseroles. I think they're yummy. You could put all this stuff in it.
A lot of times they're pretty funky looking, but they are often amazingly delicious.
That's kind of describes me. Sometimes I'm funky looking.
Okay, so
Cool.
is there anything else on the kind of besides making the pausing and making the intro video that we wanted to do?
No, and I just want to double check. So do you feel like, oh yeah, we're gonna make the intro video.
Mhm.
The idea that I had is that we both describe like what it means to us. We kind of bounce off. We just have a natural conversation about it.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah,
good. And do you think we can try to keep it to say 3 minutes?
totally. Let's do that. Do you want me to put, I'll have a timer.
Well, I'm gonna do one too, just so that I have a sense of how much time is left.
Perfect.
But I'm going to, is there a silent? No, there's really not. Oh, just stop playing. No.
Let's go 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so all right, so I'm not ready yet. So we're just
Cool.
gonna, how about you start? Okay, that'll help. Okay. So
Okay.
you feel ready and I'm gonna stop the recording.